family. We have giants in our midst, and in this moment, not only do we get to meet them, but we get to give them the credit and the praise they deserve. They are educating, creating, providing resources, doing what they can to make the world better, our world better. This is For the Culture. We're here.
Hello. How are you?
I'm excited and grateful to have you fabulous ladies on. How are you?
We are doing so well. Today is a big day for us. We just released our 2021 spring collection, so we are excited about new things that are happening. So we are
Yes.
we don't want to show it too much, but yes, we are very grateful and blessed today. We feel really, really good today. So
yeah.
That's so exciting. I'm so honored, and I want to get into all the business. So let's start with, who are you ladies?
So Lydia K. Smith.
I am Alexis Ramos. We are Elle Rouge.
Love it. And I adore you ladies individually. I adore you ladies collectively. I love your brand. It is my uniform.
We love that you love it, girl.
Yeah, we love that you are our unsolicited brand ambassador and rep us the way you do. We appreciate the love and support you provide us.
You were the first.
Yes.
You were the first.
You definitely got us.
You are the inaugural brand ambassador. Anybody who tells you different is lying.
Come on, y'all. So the first is taken. You heard it.
It sure is.
So I wanna touch on both things, because you guys have a beautiful company, and you ladies are just powerhouses in your own right, individually. Let's get some background about you ladies individually and then collectively. Let the people know, where were you born and raised?
So I was born and raised in Queens, New York. Attended primary through high school in Queens. So definitely a Queens girl all the way.
Yeah, definitely the same. I was born in Brooklyn, but raised in Queens. Went to St. John's University. And so, yeah, I've been in Queens my whole life, basically.
Queens heads. Queens are from Queens.
Yes.
And what about your families? Where are your families from?
So my mother, born in Jamaica, West Indies. My father from Harlem, St. Nicholas Projects. So I definitely got the best of both worlds in terms of really strong West Indian roots, but then also what it looks like for folks to come from the grunge of trials and tribulations, and them then birthing this amazing soul that I've become.
My mom is a single mom from Brooklyn, New York. She was born and raised there her entire life. And so I was raised by a single mom, and seeing her be so strong and stuff has made me the woman that I am today as well. So yeah,
I love it. And I asked the question. I always ask, because clearly this is for the culture, and the Black diaspora is so vast. And your perspective, a lot of the times it comes from our upbringing and our roots. And I know for me, growing up, being first generation, I felt like I always had a clash somewhere, or somebody be like, "What do you mean? No, my parents don't do that." So I just like to get the background before we get deeper into the conversation. So talk to me about what it is that you ladies do individually and collectively, wherever it is that you guys want to go first.
Awesome. So in respect to Elle Rouge was designed really to support. We started, let's go back. We started out doing private events for, everyday folks. So baby showers, birthday parties, you name it. Okay. The very first client was like a super sweet 16. And we evolved, right? Over time, it was like, I don't really like this. Like, I don't know that this is the goal, this is the purpose. Like, there wasn't that sense of connection. So we shifted and we decided we were going to serve entrepreneurs and small businesses. And so we were doing a lot of in-person events pre-COVID. We also have an apparel line, which birthed, this is now what? 5 years. This is about to be year 5.
Yes, year 5 of No Risk, No Story for sure.
Right. So I manage more of the event services. Since COVID, we have been doing media production services and really supporting our clients to convert their in-person events to a virtual platform to ensure that, COVID was not stopping them completely. Obviously, there were some limitations, but not stopping them completely from being able to execute those events, those projects, those ideas. So everything from galas to assemblies to podcasts, we've been able to do successfully. And then Lex manages the other side.
Yeah, the apparel line, No Risk, No Story, helping design it, website, Shopify store. Making new versions of the shirts. We have merchandise, water bottles, iPhone cases, and that's mainly what I kind of focus on when it comes to us collectively.
Yeah, and then our newest baby, which is sweatpants and coffee chat. Today is actually the 1-year anniversary. So during COVID, it was actually designed. In my head, it was this in-person event where women could come together and just be themselves. Everybody gets all dolled out when it's time for like Saturday, Sunday brunch. And I was like, sometimes you just don't want to do all that. You want to have the brunch experience and have the vibe and the conversation and the book clubs and, the poetry festivals, like all those fun things, but just in your sweatpants, being yourself authentically, organically. And that didn't happen in person. However, COVID happened and the noise was so loud. And I said, let's create a space where people could just be for just, 1 hour is how it was designed. We started out on Zoom and we just created a space for folks to come together who had like interests. And we ran that for a season. And then, the world started to open up a little bit. And we noticed people wanted to be outside. And it's now become a podcast. And as of today, it's available everywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, as well as the visual podcast being on YouTube.
Yes.
That's hot. That's so hot. And I'm going to come back to all of this because, I got all the questions. What about, tell me more about you ladies individually, because we have all of the titles, right? I know you ladies as daughters, of course, as friends, as moms, both of you, like as moms. And so tell me more about your individual selves.
Yeah. Well, I went to St. John's for law. I got my bachelor's and my master's. Obviously now I'm still a full-time paralegal, and I do, legal work. And I have a 5-year-old son. And I'm a single mom. I'm called a mompreneur now.
Yeah,
mompreneur.
That's a whole title.
It's a whole title now. And I kind of, just focus on raising my son, instilling values, and doing that as well as growing our business, and still a full-time employee at the law firm. So that is the gist of who I am. Kind of like the bullets, right? The bullets, just a little bit of who I am.
And for me, I am 9 to 5, turned 9 to thrive. I abandoned the I don't want to call it a myth, but I abandoned the 9 to 5 lifestyle a little over a year ago. Very grateful for that. And for me, entrepreneurship has always been who I am. I actually started my first small business when I was 16. And, I'm no stranger to hard work. So I've always worked a 9 to 5 to make sure my basic needs were met. But my heart was always to devote the level of energy that I put forth into other folks' businesses. I've always worked nonprofit for the most part in small business. So the level of grit that you have to exude and be immersed in day to day looked a lot like, running my own business. And I said, if I could just put half of the energy that I dedicate, 8 hours, 10 hours, if you add your commute, 12 hours even to another business, we would be a lot further along. And so said, so done. Right before the pandemic, I decided to leave my full-time job. And so we were readily equipped for where we were ahead of the game when the pandemic hit, and we were able to pivot very quickly, not only because we had time, but because I was able to leverage a lot of those skills that I had, created and I had learned through my 9-to-5 lifestyle. So that's the short answer for me.
Mm-hmm. So all I heard both of you say was that you're bosses. That's my summary of what I just heard you guys say, and your experiences. I'm grateful, right? Because I know you ladies, you wear so many different hats, and I just say that as a woman, in this world, period. Again, as a friend, as a sister, as a daughter, as a mom, as a business owner, as an employee, right? Like there's so many different spaces, and I got to meet you ladies as creatives, which I'm so grateful for. So can you guys give us some insight on how you got here? How was Elle Rouge even birthed? Like, where the heck did this even come from? And my life changed forever because no risk, no story is how I live my life.
That's a great question.
It is.
So we've been friends since, well, let's take it back. We went to high school together. Alexis is 1 year younger than I, so she was a freshman and I was a sophomore. But we used to dance together. So that's how our relationship formed, right? So we developed a relationship over our art and our passion for dance. And then years go on, we're not in high school.
Not in high school anymore.
And now a dance company is born, and we go with the dance company who our high school dance teacher, Zakia Morera at the time, says, hey, I'm starting up a company, because we wouldn't let her alone. Like folks had graduated and were still harassing her and calling her and seeking her guidance. And then I think the relationship grew from there.
Yes. And then Kia Dance.
Correct.
We basically helped start that, and we worked there. We still, still had our friendship and relationship. And then this one right here came to me and said, hey, Lex, I got a great idea. I think that I've been playing with this idea about, this events kind of putting together, and I would love for you to kind of see what we can go with that. And then now we're here.
So really our relationship was born over the artistry of dance, but then the relationship deepened because we both had a leadership role in the dance company that evolved from the inception, if you will,
right,
of our relationship. And I think me knowing her strengths, my weaknesses, and vice versa, I just knew that there was like a nice balance between the two of us. And that's really how it got started. She was always on the executive side and I was always on the artistic side. And that's literally, it's so funny. I think the roles flipped a little bit now.
It flipped a little bit, but
that's so interesting.
For the most part, it's still kind of the same. But yeah, I think it flipped a little bit. I did, because
you're more dealing with the artistic side.
Artistically, now that I'm designing and the clothes, it makes sense.
Interesting.
We didn't realize that until
right now.
But the culture just brought it out of us.
That's right.
So yeah.
Yes. Revelation. So you guys have such a beautiful dynamic, and as friends, right? And also as business partners. And I'm grateful because you shared something that does happen, I think, amongst friends, right? It's like, oh my goodness, I have this idea, and you share it with your friend. And what happened with you guys, that doesn't always happen. What happened with you guys is, number one, you embraced it, and then you acted upon it. And to see you guys now, like, if I were to step in on this chapter, I know it'd be very easy for me to be like, oh, they got this in the bag. And to see, like, the apparel is beautiful. You guys are in my eyes, like, masters and such bosses at what you do, like the way that you guys curate events, the way that you guys solve problems, the way that you guys work so well together. But thankfully, because I do know you guys, to have a little bit more insight, I know that it's even if I didn't know y'all, it's not always smooth sailing. And so can you just talk to that a little bit about, any of the projects that you're working on, or honestly, even when you guys first came out with No Risk, No Story, and, now where you guys are, because y'all brand is for life.
Well, I mean, for the most part, it hasn't been smooth sailing, and I feel as if, like, to be honest, there's a balance between us and an understanding, and because we came from such a friendship level that we were able to kind of have each other's back when needed.
Awesome.
To be transparent, obviously, and for the culture. There was a time in which, during the course of our business, I had my son and I had postpartum depression and anxiety. And it took a toll on my life, and it took a toll on, like, my capabilities, right? And so there was a time in which she had to kind of rise to the occasion and handle things because I was unable to. So not only did she do that as a business partner, but she did it as my friend and having my back and realizing that it wasn't like I didn't want to work on the business. I just couldn't at that time.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been smooth sailing, but it's been such a growing atmosphere that we both have been able to grow with each other and have each other's backs in ways in which maybe we didn't anticipate it happening, but we're grateful nonetheless. And so No Risk, No Story was birthed based off of a transition that we both were making at the time. She had my back during the time, and then I was able to have her back at a time. And it's been such a growing situation. And for No Risk, No Story to speak to us the way it has, our whole goal is for it to speak to others the way it has for us.
Yeah.
And so it hasn't been smooth sailing, but it's one of those situations that I would never, ever kind of take back and regret, because we would not be here, 7 years later, had those things not transpire and us be able to work together. So we had to just learn how to function in different aspects of our lives because we were growing, as individuals. So definitely grateful.
I appreciate beyond words your honesty and your transparency, because this is the part that, again, we don't necessarily always get to see and we don't always talk about. And again, your relationship is so beautiful. It really is. It inspires me when you're in a space and environment where you can understand that it goes beyond business, right? Because sometimes we get so caught up, and to be here 7 years later, like, it just to be like, yo, it's been 7 years for you guys. Businesses don't make it past their first year, let alone their 5th year. And now you guys are in your 7th year and expanding. First of all, my hat goes off to you guys. Okay, so there's that part. But what about even with the projects that you guys are working on right now, right? If you can give us more insight, like, what do you want to see happen with Elle Rouge?
She has the ultimate goals. I'm telling you. I'm gonna let her speak on it, because the goals for Elle Rouge for her, and I'll speak to some. There is a goal of ours that we will have. We're gonna speak it into existence. I'm manifesting that. She has always wanted a space, and if I won the lottery tomorrow, or if I even came into some money, she wanted a space. And then one of my particular goals, which would happen probably in the same space, but my specific goal is to have a complete warehouse where we would, have our own, just have a warehouse where all of our apparel is, our merchandise is, and just be able to kind of do that on our own. But yeah, that would definitely be the next couple of projects coming up. But yeah, that's definitely on her list. Like, if she had some money tomorrow, she would buy a property and we would be renovating an entire.
I definitely always said, if and when I come into some money. I mean, and this is years. This is possibly even before the business started. That's always been something that I would love to see happen. And because we, once the world kind of opens up a little bit more and we're able to move about a little bit more freely, entrepreneurs and small businesses, one of the number one issues all of our clients face, especially when they're just starting out, is venue acquisition, right? And they come to us, I need a space to do this thing. And then we either have to create it, which can get really costly, right? Because we work with chefs, we work with cinematographers, we work with dancers, we work with, correct. The list goes on. So from a book release to a film release to an event for a chef whereby they're able to showcase a new menu that they came up with. Essentially all of it happened in this space.
I love y'all.
We love you. We love you.
So I promise I'm not going to keep y'all forever. I promise, but I have to ask this. What does no risk, no story mean?
I think Lex said it impeccably well. And if I could reiterate, it is literally the mantra of our lives after a storm, right? And what it means to push through, what it means to exemplify grit, and what it means to be determined. Literally, we have experienced things that might take the average person out, right? Postpartum, I wish that people understood the impact that postpartum depression, it's such an invisible chronic illness on the mental capacity of a mother that folks don't necessarily understand until I did not understand it until I looked it in the face. It's similar. It's like COVID, right? It's like, this virus that, everyone talks about in theory until you look it in the face and you're like, oh my goodness, right? And so for me, that, we have experienced a total chain of events, in our lives. Literally, our lives were heading in one direction and the total trajectory of our lives were changed literally 30 days apart of one another. In the same year that No Risk, No Story was dropped in Alexis's heart for us to, she always wanted a t-shirt line, but we didn't know what that was going to look like. And so I almost feel like it was a God thing that it came to her when it did, because it came to her when everything was all good. And literally within the next 3 to 6 months, life turned completely upside down. I completely, changed my life and went on what I would call like a spiritual hiatus. I decided to relocate and I had to relearn myself in a whole nother way. And this is all amidst, people, always want to talk about, this grand rising of, when they win it. And as you said, had you not known us personally, you think we have it all together. But to go through or to have to run a business and to function as a boss and as a mom, amidst real life happening is literally the illustration of what No Risk, No Story is, right? So to push through, even though, and to understand that the sacrifice and the risk is your story, and ultimately your story is what God gave you to give to the world. And so when we live in that, that is purpose. And some people make purpose such a complicated subject, but to me, No Risk, No Story is your purpose.
Yeah, I agree.
So what I know for me in being able to see you guys operate, first of all, that's the first thing. And then what you guys produced, right? Which is No Risk, No Story. I know for me, it's become my uniform, not only because for the sake of support and purchasing, but you guys gave me words I didn't have. Like it was like, oh my, that's what it is. You helped me make sense of what's happening, especially in entrepreneurship. And so I'm just grateful for you guys moving in that direction and being obedient, right? Hearing the whispers and moving accordingly and collaborating right with each other to make that happen. So thank you guys again for that.
Thank you for saying that.
To influence people and for people to get the message and it resonate with people. So,
but to hear it so clearly articulated in terms of what it did for you,
means everything.
Yeah, it takes me back. I almost need to sit in that, because that's impactful. That's impactful.
That's what y'all have done. Okay, so thank you. I'm gonna ask. Oh, my love.
It's the goal.
to see, and for people that are watching this and don't know us and our relationship, just to give insight, like I mean that because again, wearing the clothing, wearing it, having a reminder, right? Like the mug and all of that is beautiful and it's been a blessing. But when I've asked, even in doing my showcases and being like, no, I need this, right? Like I need your shirt for me. I want everybody in your shirt. No, we're gonna perform in your shirts.
Yeah.
It really has become, I guess, like a banner, like this badge of honor to be able to respect what the journey and the process is.
Wow.
And there's, like, there's no other way. And, you guys, you've seen, I've dealt with controversy and gotten in trouble for a few things before, but to be able to summarize it so well, you guys have packaged this so well.
Wow.
So this really is a gift. It like genuinely, it really is a gift for the world. So I just know that I mean that.
I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
Woo!
And now that I got you caught up in your emotions, I'm gonna ask for a humble brag. So
we can lighten it up a little bit. We lighten it up.
Please share in your perspective, in your words, what you feel like you add to the Black community. What value do you feel like you bring to the Black community?
I'll start off with just saying I would love what I do want, I guess, and what I do here sometimes is the fact that we have been able to influence people and be able to contribute in a way in which we just want for our people to be able to follow their dreams and be able to take a leap of faith when they just don't feel like they have it in them.
Yeah.
Or when the door isn't really opening all the time. I would love for No Risk, No Story and for Elle Rouge to be able to be that push that, if we can do it and I can do it and she can do it, that they take our mantra and they say, you know what, even if that door closed, even if they said no, even if they said maybe not now, for them to continue and to kind of push through it, because following the dream has always been something on my heart to be able to pass that forward, like just to give that to someone else. So for me, I would love for our culture, the Hispanic, the Black community, kind of, for the culture itself to
People
be able
of color in general.
in general, to be able to do what we have done and be influenced to follow their dream. And it didn't happen overnight, of course, but to know that we kept going and now it's here, I can only speak to the fact that, like, God did that for us, So just not to give up and to kind of push through would definitely, hands down, for me, one of the main goals for No Risk, No Story and Elle Rouge, for sure.
Y'all warm my heart. You really do. Did you have anything to add?
Can you restate the question?
I sure can. What value do you feel like you bring to the Black community?
As individuals and our individual projects and influence as two women, right? As Living with Lexi, as Lydia K. Smith, The Morning After blogger, I feel like we bring a value of authenticity that the world is so missing, that social media is so missing, and not to suggest that we by far are perfect in it, but what we are is authentic in it. Even sweatpants and coffee chat, the reason why we choose to show up in sweatpants is to show up as your true self. To, before the glitz and the glamour and the makeup and the lashes and all the hoopla, who are you? How comfortable are you? Not only physically in the what you have on, but it's kind of like bareface with no makeup on. Drake said, "That's when you're the prettiest." I hope that you don't take it wrong. I think that there's a devaluing that kind of goes on in, just what that looks like. And I think that we bring a sense of authenticity to a space that is much needed, especially within the Black culture,
So authenticity is important. And from what I can tell, you guys have been so authentic, right? In the moments, especially in being able to kind of carry each other and hold each other accountable and step forward and take a step back and take the breaks and then kind of evolve accordingly. If somebody says that they want to be like you, what do you say?
I don't want you to be like me.
Be like you.
I want you to be you. That's what we did. We were us. We really had to just push it through and be us. So I don't want you to be me. I don't want you to be us. I want you to be you and follow your own journey, because that's what God set out for you. It wasn't about you being us. It was about you being you.
Your story is important.
Mm-hmm.
Your story,
not ours.
Yours is important. The world needs your story.
Yes.
And there's something so beautiful about this space and having, first of all, I know, honestly, I love everybody's reaction when I ask that question. Like either like the pause or the laugh or the,
like that's a real question.
Like for real.
But in all sincerity, right? Because you guys are role models. You guys are inspiration. You guys are trendsetters. Whether, on the days where you feel like it and the days that you don't, to see, again, two women running their own businesses and living their lives and walking their faith walk, you guys inspire me definitely. And so I don't know if anybody's actually said it to y'all, but I'm sure folks are thinking it, like I'm trying to be Lex, I'm trying to be Lydia. But thank you guys for that answer. And you mentioned, Lydia, you gave a little touch, morning after blogger and living with Lex. Can you guys give us some insight? What's that?
I think those are our individual lifestyle brands. So the morning after speaks to the power of transition. And so it truly speaks to one of the largest transition points that I have personally endured. And during that time, I was writing really just to kind of make the pain hurt a little less. Sometimes when you write something out on paper, it kind of gives a sense of life and freedom. And so I really believe that like certain things that I did to manage and to cope and to really engage the transition in a more graceful way, like to not take it as, because some people demonize transition, right? And it's like, it's almost made out to be this horrible thing versus like, okay, where's the power in it, right? Where's the grace in it? What do I learn about myself in the process? And so I really, really tapped into that and just jotted it down on paper during that period of transition. And, the intention is really just for other folks to kind of shift that mindset in terms of how we look at what transition is, and stop glorifying when we win and be a little more authentic in how we share our process.
Yeah. And Living with Lexi is my YouTube channel vlog about navigating single mom life, mompreneurship. It's just being my authentic self with my little one, along with all the hats that I wear throughout the day, and just showing you how I kind of have the good and the bad. That is my authentic place, where if you wanted to get to know me, that is literally where you could go and get to know all the hats that I wear, how I feel. I talk about my depression. I talk about anxiety there. I'm transparent about when I'm in the moment of things. I talk about the good, I talk about the bad. And so it's just my own personal kind of vlog where it's just to showcase my mom life, my mompreneur life, my relationship, like just basically my personal life there.
So good. So good. I appreciate you guys tracking your journey, and showing what is, like, just that simple. How do you want to be remembered?
Ooh. I guess the one thing that came into my mind right away would have to be hardworking. I never wanted to be where you thought that I didn't work my ASS off to the point where I was tired. I did that. You know what I mean? So I worked so hard for where I am. So if I had to write off the top of the dome, it would be I want to be remembered as one of the most hardworking people in this industry.
That's good.
I mean, for me, it's a little more simple. I just want to be recognized as being here fully in all my glory, that I created a space for who I am at my core. And I lived in that boldly and fully and presently throughout my journey.
I love y'all.
And we love you. Well,
I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for you guys showing up. I really am.
You show up every time for you. You don't got to worry about that.
Y'all sure do. Y'all be holding me down
every time.
So I'm gonna read you guys a quote. Okay. It's short and sweet. Okay. And just let me know if it resonates, if it means anything to you guys, okay?
Yeah.
And the quote is, "Done is better than perfect."
I'm going to say facts. It resonates with me because I just spoke about this. This is so funny. I literally have planned my entire life since I was a little girl. I planned what school I was going to go to, all the degrees I was going to have, where my life was going to be set up, what age I was going to have my child. I strive for perfection, and I deal with that even right now, where I have to give myself grace that done is better than perfect is literally something that I have to kind of remind myself, because I will kill myself for perfection at times where really it's not that serious. Like, I don't need to be that. So yeah, for me, it resonates really, really a lot, because I am that person who strives for perfection. It literally is one of, it's, you know, when they say it's a gift and a curse, it is the gift and a curse in my life, for sure.
That's good.
Yeah. And I mean, I would say I acknowledge that perfect does not exist. But to be mindful that even with that being said, give it your all.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's really good. Do you guys have any shout outs at all? Anything, anybody, anywhere, anything?
Oh, that's good. That's a good one. I think I just want to shout out, I guess, supporters, obviously, all of our supporters, because without y'all, we wouldn't even be lasting this long, obviously. I want to shout out our family, because they are like number one. Like right now, my mom is with my little one just so I could get work done. So my family, for sure. So our families are definitely like our number one supporters. So I want to shout them out, because they always guard our back. So I appreciate them so much. And for me, like, God, like, he just, I don't know, for some reason, I just feel utterly grateful. So
he did that.
He did that. And I'm utterly grateful to him every single day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. And I'll echo that. I would definitely, our whole community, right? So as it, you know, our families, those who hold us accountable, those who push us, those who offer feedback, those who just drive us and inspire us to be more and to rise fully to the occasion, right? Because you can rise, but that doesn't mean that you are rising to the occasion, you know, in a fullness, right? Mm-hmm. So I stress that, because I think that some people, you know, just stands up, but I say stands up and be bold, you know, in all of your glory. You know, growing up for me, sometimes there wasn't always a space for how abstract or how bold I was. And so I created the space, you know, for myself. And I'm not going to suggest that it happened overnight, but I had to get to a place where I said, no, bump that.
Yeah. Bump that.
I determined, you know, myself, you know, Kuji Jakalia, like it's straight self-determination, like, you know, to define yourself, name yourself, and create for yourself instead of being named, defined, and created for by others. So definitely I would say rise fully.
Rise fully.
And thank you to those who pushed us
to
rise fully, because we could easily keep it watered down, but
we could.
Who would that serve?
Exactly.
That's a whole fact. And I know you're doing something good, because that's why I be wearing your shirt. We be like, oh, where you get that from? My friend made it. So rapid fire time.
All right, let's do it.
Rapid fire. Again, feel free to go back and forth, whomever, but share first things that come to your mind.
All right, I'm ready.
Let's start with favorite quotes.
This rapping is not so rapid, huh?
It's not coming to me like naturally. My favorite quote is "No risk, no story." How about that?
Come on.
This one right here. This is enough for me. I'm gonna just say that.
There are others, but definitely "No risk, no story."
Yep, that's the one. I'm gonna go with that one too.
Good choice. Good choice. Ding, 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 ding. Favorite food?
Mac and cheese.
Seafood.
Both delicious. Favorite books?
I love all books of murder mysteries. Murder mysteries for me.
Favorite book to date: The Power of the Subconscious Mind.
Nice. A role model that each of you have?
Mom.
One word to describe how you're feeling right now.
Grateful.
Overjoyed.
Blessed. You said one, but I got sorry about that.
That's right. I still take it. Something that you're proud of.
Us.
This moment. I feel like even amidst this conversation, I'm coming into awareness, and we put words and articulated some things that we probably always felt in our hearts and knew in our minds, but never gave life to by way of words. So
I love that. And where can people find you?
Now they can find us. Oh no, I'm just kidding. Let me just calm down a little bit, because I'm a little excited. You could always find us on our IG, Instagram at Elle Rouge Events. We are Sweatpants and Coffee is now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Play, and on YouTube. So you could always find us there as well. I'm utterly excited about that.
And lastly, you can find us at ellerougeevents.com.
Yes, to all of it. I want to throw in a question before the last question. My question is, what has this journey taught you?
To keep going.
Patience.
I
would say patience. Because I've had a lot of no's and a lot of, we had some disappointments and stuff, and just patience. It'll all come to you when it's supposed to. You just got to keep working, so patience, I would say.
Keep going in patience. Bet. And any final words, any last thoughts for anyone that's watching or will watch?
I want to just give you your flowers and just thank you for constantly creating spaces like this, where even when you're not performing as an artist, to me, this is a display of your artistry, because you set a stage, whether it's a physical stage or not, where this moment of just organic beauty, just naturally sort of happens. And so I thank you for your ability to also, hear the whispers and feel what you feel, and then act on it in a way that allows for art to be created. So shout out to you. And I know
for all your support. Thank you so much.
And I know that it's not always easy. So thank you for doing it, even though
pushing through. No risk, no story.
No risk, no story.
Drops
the mic. Thank you, ladies. I honor you. I really do mean it when I say what you guys have done has impacted me for the better, has made my life better. I'm grateful truly for all the work it is that you guys are doing individually and collectively. I honor you ladies, powerhouses, bosses, human beings, simply doing the work. So thank you guys for being here and spending time with me. I appreciate you both. I love you. And for everyone that is watching, thank you guys for joining us yet again for another episode of For the Culture. For the culture. What?
We gotta get you an oil too.
Culture. Love y'all.
Thank you so much.